as we are diving into game number 1, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of site Delta, we have our blue Polish Zerg player, currently representing himself, but looking to make it into those playoffs. He is coming as the favorite player, but can he make it there? Can he make it out in second place? It is Trifax. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Sentinels of Mirage. It is Fanatig. Again, Fanatig looking to get his revenge. He had a very similar performance 2 years ago in the esports LAN event. It was the equivalent of... Oh, wait. What the hell? I'll put a pin in that as we're diving into game 1, going for a bit of a wall-off. Let's go. The gateways have been thrown down. And the way this works is we have sealed Trifax into his own natural. He has not scattered. He has no idea what is going on. And we're going for proxy 3-gate Zealots. It's going to be mass slow lots here from Fanatig, massing Zealots into the natural. And the problem here is that Trifax doesn't know. He's going for a hatch gas pool, he's going for a standard opener, he has yet to piece together. The Overlord will move out, and we confirm. We get an eye on the wall of gateways, and the gateways will finish. The Zealots are on the way, and the goal here for Trifax is to defend and hold on to his bases, to his natural. We're going to need queens, we're going to need spine crawlers. We're going to need to muster up our defenses here, as there we go, making 3 Zealots at a time. Gas is being taken, double gas even. This should be for a Cybercore follow-up into some vanilla stalkers. I say that this probe is in a very interesting position. Are we willing to proxy some tech? I wonder. Again, we'll see what this gas is going to be used for. For now, Zealots have arrived. And you can see Trifax in the main base throwing down 3 spine crawlers. I think it's okay to lose the natural. Honestly, I think it's okay to lose the natural. I think defending the main base is all we have to focus on, especially because back across the map, there is no expansion, there is no follow-up. Not yet. Lings have right, going to be dancing with these Zealots. Oh my god, they barely do survive. Not going down yet. And you can see Trifax just trying to buy some time. Chip away at that Zealot. And does strip away some of his shields, but yep, the hatchery does fall. And thankfully, we don't overcommit. Going to be making use of these Broodlings. Broodlings have run out, so we back off. But again, Trifax just buying time, and now that spine crawlers are done, this main base is looking pretty secure. This main is looking pretty damn secure here, as Zealots will dip in. Queen stutter stepping against these Zealots. Spine is up and running, and we hold. We should hold on to this space. Meanwhile, Fanatig is transitioning. There we go. We have a Cybercore on the way. We have a Nexus as well. Fanatig looking to try to take an economic lead from this proxy. And now the goal should just be delay the natural. Delay the natural for as long as we can. Spine crawlers are slowly pushing forward with that creep. Trifax eventually will break out. And again, it's on Fanatig to delay that. Ooh, as a Stargate is on the way. So Fanatig is not in a bad position. Trifax going for his expand. Ooh, but Zealots are here. Yeah, we can force the cancel. Oh, I say that we do force the recall instead. Lings, they have arrived. And Zealots get the hell out of there. Meanwhile, I love this from Fanatig is making a stalker. So the stalker will pop out on the other side of the wall, but it looks like we might be able to get him from that stalker. And the gateways are getting low. They are getting low. The DPS rate of the stalker is not going to be high enough. I think I would have liked an Adept instead, as the Adept especially has a little bit more maneuverability to get out of here. And the wall is broken, and the Stalker will attempt to escape. Back at home is going to be a Void Ray opener. You can see Trifax is looking for that Stalker. He's attempting to hunt it down. Is checking here towards the left-hand side. Lings are trying to cut it off as well, and the Stalker will barely escape, or will it? Oh, Trifax. It doesn't quite get eyes on it. It does know that recall is on cooldown, but yeah, the Stalker is kept safe and sound. Meanwhile, we're going for a proxy Twilight Council. This can mean one thing and one thing only. You don't proxy a Twilight Council unless you want to go proxy Dark Shrine. DTs. The Invisible Man is on the horizon here for Fanatig. Overlord gets shut down. The wall is solid. We have a cannon as well. We can see Trifax is desperately re-droning, trying to mass up his workers, going for the triangular third, but no spores. No spores in sight. Lings did not get eyes on the proxy. Gateways are finishing up. Oh, wait, working towards... Okay, never... Shot. Wait, what? Interesting. Oh my god. So this is a bit of a different strategy here. So we're not going for DTs. I do think they would have done well. I mean, again, there's no lair, there's no spore. There's one spore in the main, but no spore at the natural. Damage would have been done. Instead, 2-base all in with proxied gateways. Now, what this means is that if Trifax scattered the main, he would not see enough. He would not know how committed this is. This is going to be a 2-base, 8-gate all in with mass charge lots. Likewise, still on scatter, this can hit like a truck. We're missing the opportunity with the DTs, but regardless, I'm not sure that Trifax is going to be ready for this. Like, Trifax, he's still droning, and there's no Bailey Nest, there's no Roach Warren, there is nothing to defend. Only Lings and Queens, and Lings and Queens are not going to be good enough. As we dive into the main base, 2 drones go down. More and more zealots are amassing, and soon we're going to be pulling the trigger. Soon the trigger will be pulled. We're amassing queens. Roach Warren now on the way up. Ooh. Void Ray did overextend. It's a big misstep there by Fanatig. But here we go. Charge is revealed. He knows. Charge is now revealed. Roach Warren about to finish up. Zealots, they will hit the natural. And what do we have to defend? We have 14 Lings. Oh no. We have 14 Lings, barely any queens. Spine trying to reposition as well on the high ground. Not a bad position for these spine crawlers. We do manage to get a couple of queens though. Yeah, we just ignore the main base. We go for the natural instead. The queens are being hunted down. We get on top of the Roach Warren. 8 roaches are on the way, but only 8 roaches as the Roach Warren goes down. And Trifax woefully underprepared. And was busy droning up. Trifax, he droned up to 54 workers. And droning was not what we needed. As we're snowballing out of control, collapsing into the main base. Queens are falling, roaches as well. And we can only produce Lings. G gets caught. And Fanatig takes game 1. GG. A spicy game 1 here by Fanatig. Again, I want to say that in a longer macro game, in the mid to late game, in a standard game, I favor Trifax. I do favor Trifax in a standard game. And I'm sure Fanatig is aware of that as well. So don't give him a standard game. Just catch him out of left field with the proxy 3-gate into Void Ray, into a 2-base all-in, a hidden 2-base all-in more importantly. And again, Trifax was in the dark for a lot of that game. It took him a long time to piece together what was going on, to figure out what was happening, and he was caught with his pants down. The pants, they were down, papi. Again, we droned up to 56. We droned up all the way to 56 workers. The Roach Warren finished up by the time the push hits, and we just, again, had no idea that that a push was coming. Despite the Lings being active, we did scout all of the southern half of the map, but the Lings did not scout the upper half of the map, the northern half. They never came across the proxy. There was a chance. Remember, the Lings, they were active. They were definitely being active on the map and moving around, but they did miss the proxy. Because of that, Trifax was unable to piece together what was going on. But now we're diving into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Zerg player from LAN Poland representing himself down in this series, but he is favored. Can he bounce back? Can we force the ace match? I hope so. It is Trifax. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, this time going for the pylon back at home. There is no proxy, at least not yet. The Polish Protoss player representing Sentinels of Mirage. It is Fanatig. Here we go. As we are just setting up with our gateway back at home. Meanwhile, Trifax doesn't flinch, going for a hatch gas pool, standard opener out of Trifax. Despite the cheese, despite the aggression, we can see he's being more attentive. You can see this time he's checking outside his natural, so he's a little bit paranoid after game 1, after the proxy 3 gate. But he's going to be safe and sound, and will be able to get away with his more economic standard opener. It's just a hatch gas pool here from Trifax. Meanwhile, Fanatig across the map going for his own gate expand. This time we're settling into a much more normal game on Alkion. Now, the setup is normal, but we should be keeping an eye on the Protoss player. You know, we could see a Twilight Council opener, we could see even a Robo-based opener, maybe Stargate, into a delayed third, into a faster Twilight Council as well. There's a lot available. There's a lot available here for Fanatig if he wants to be a little bit spicy and be unorthodox. There are a lot of aggressive builds out there, and that is an interesting position for the pylon. The pylon is thrown down closer to the mineral line, which means it's a little bit more efficient. It means that the probe takes less time to go back to mining. But at the same time, it means that if it was a Stargate Oracle opener, it would take longer to get across the map. So this could be for a Twilight Council. It could be for a Stargate into Void Ray instead. We saw something similar last game. We'll see. We'll see, as Warp Gate is not denied. Okay. Warp Gate is revealed to the Overlord. Stargate gets thrown down. We're kind of misleading our opponents a little bit here. Okay. So we're trying to sell a story to Trifax, and we'll see if he takes the bait. We'll see if he goes for an earlier Roach Warren. Stargate in production. Based on the rally, it looks like an Oracle opener, as we're not rallied to the Overlord. But we'll see as the First Adept does get across the map. First Adept shades in towards that natural. Doesn't commit yet. Stargate is done, and we'll wait for our first unit of choice. There it is, Void Ray opener. You can see the rally changed to the Overlord now. We're going for the Void Ray. And what is scary about this opener is that after your initial Void Ray, it could be anything behind it. We could just go into a Twilight Council, into Glaze. We could throw down a second Stargate, into a Fleet Beacon, into like a Tempest Rush or a Carrier Rush. We could go Mass Oracle, like we saw from Rodzin earlier today. We could go Mass Void Ray, or we could even go into a third, into an Oracle, into a standard game, right? It could be a standard game, or it could be more aggressive. Trifax is going to be in the dark as the Overlord goes down, and our goal here is to hunt down every Overlord on the map. There is an Overlord hidden on the left-hand side for a Trifax, and with this Overlord, we can go in for a follow-up scout, unless it gets found. Unless it is found out as the Void Ray is going through the center. Behind this, we're going for the Oracle, which was scattered earlier, but I'm more interested in what comes after this Oracle. Whether we go for a Forge, Twilight Council, Roach Warren is thrown down. Oh, this is an early Roach Warren for Trifax. This is a 4-minute Roach Warren. Usually against a Stargate opener, you would throw it down at around the 5-minute mark. But here at 4 minutes, again, this is a little bit early. This tells us that Trifax is maybe a little bit afraid of what Fanatig is doing next. As Void Ray has arrived. So again, just a very safe follow-up here out of Trifax. Void Ray gets a drone, backs off, Lings are amassing, moving out across the map. Trifax is still droning. Just applying some pressure with some Lings, but we have plenty of adepts to defend. And it is a Robo follow-up, not a Twilight Council. This could be for a fast Bay into a second Robo, into like Colossus production, or maybe just a second Robo into Mass Immortal. There's options. We have options here, but we are delaying the Twilight Council. So we should be more defensive with this. We don't have like Blink or Charge or anything to be too active on the map outside of our Skytoss units. Behind this, we're working towards our lair, and a more standard lair timing here for Trifax. Again, this tells us that this Roach Warren was a safety Roach Warren, that again, Trifax was just a little bit paranoid that he would need these Roaches earlier. He doesn't, but he was afraid he would. So Fanatic, you could argue, already in the head of Trifax, especially after game 1. Lings being shaved off, we deny some creep. Behind this, Immortal production has begun. We spoke about it, right? This fast Robo should be for faster Immortals. I assumed it could have been for a faster Bay or even a faster second robo, but we're working towards a Fortune +1. So it looks like Fanatig was just being safe, and maybe because he saw the earlier Roach Warren, he just wanted to make sure he had Immortals to defend against an early Roach push. So Immortals are amassing. Fourth base on the way, looking to be denied by these Oracles. Up! And it looks like we will force a cancel. Did I say cancel? We forced a kill. Ay, ay, ay. That is 300 minerals down the drain. The efficiency here from Fanatig is this. Oh my god. Calm down. An Overlord. We killed a hatchery, a drone, a couple of lings. We have yet to lose a single unit. And that was a big misstep there from Trifax. Again, he's playing in front of an audience. He's playing on a stage. So nerves may be getting to him a little bit. As Trifax is double expanding. I mean, again, he has to catch up. The gold base is a good way to bounce back in this game as the Void Ray has arrived, but we have Queens to defend, and we can hold on to this. There we go. Queens are rotating over, and they should be able to save the base. Oracle into the main. Oh my god, as Trifax is rushing into a hive. Okay. So Trifax doesn't have the best economy. We're stuck on 3-base economy. We're stuck trying to take a fourth. Oh, as the Void Ray goes down. But we are rushing to an Infestation Pit, into a Lurker Den, into a Hydra Lurker Viper insanely quickly. I do like this. I like this a lot here from Trifax, but he gets scattered. The problem is that with that Revelation, Fanatig is aware of what's going on, and there's a window. There's a window available right now where Trifax, he's spending his money on all this production, on all this tech, not on his army. And Fanatig, he's going for it. He's going for that push. Oh, massive stasis in the middle of the map. A lot of roaches get caught out. And Trifax is in trouble. He's in trouble right now. Right now is the time to move out. Here and now, as we're getting a little bit stuck. Getting a little bit stuck in the Zonaga. Storm now on the way, and Fanatig actually pulls back. I feel like there was a big opportunity. I feel like there still is as well. But it's also possible that maybe we forgot Storm. Storm still on the way, so maybe Fanatig not feeling too confident without it. And that means that Trifax, he's getting away with this. The hive is done. Lurker upgrades on the way. Fourth base now up and running. Gold minerals as well kicking in. Trifax, he was quite greedy taking up like this, but again, he's getting away with it. He is getting away with it, and I do feel like Fanatig has missed his window of opportunity. And now Fanatig taking a more defensive approach, getting his fourth base up and running, second robo for double immortal production, Storm +2. Massive stasis here on the Lings. Now, when it comes to what's coming next here, I still like Fanatig's position, generally. What I mean by that is, Lurkers are amazing. They're good, don't get me wrong. But Mass Immortal can break through a line of Lurkers. And that's exactly what we're working towards. Storm is about to finish up. You can see Trifax pushing on both ends, both on the right and left-hand side. Lings are trying to flood in, but we do well in time. The Lurkers are in position. Overcharge is popped. We get the Revelation on the army. So far, Fanatig is holding on. And I believe has enough to break through. But that is 5 more Lurkers in production. Things are being cleaned up. Storm has completed this line of Lurkers. It looks like they will finish. That's a lot of Lurkers. Sold Concave as well. Massive Spine Shot's going off. One Archon goes down. You can see how softened up this army is. It looks like we're going for some Storms, but this Concave is brutal. At the same time, massive Zealot warping into the main base. We have Zealot, sorry, a Stalker run by here towards the left-hand side as well. Fanatig is not taking this line down. Is getting damage done. Zealots in the main are going to be cleaned up, but Trifax pulls back home. That's going to be a kill on the 5th base. Now, what I will say is that this base doesn't matter too much. Like, we have the gold, and we just recall back home, saving all of our units. And Fanatig did buy quite a bit of breathing room. And now it's 4 base versus 4 base, but this is a gold, and we can see Trifax double expanding. Army supplies are similar to each other. Fleet Beacon on the way for Skytoss for Fanatig. Working towards it. Fanatig out of position, doesn't see the army. Fanatig not where he needs to be. Yeah, Trifax catching him off guard. It goes straight for the throat, straight for the natural. Fnatic going for a base trade, but this is so late. Trifax is already pushing into the main. Yeah, such a delayed base trade here. But again, Fnatic was out of position. He had to make a tough choice. Recall's on cooldown, if you remember, so there was no recall available. And we're already in the main. And Natural's going to go down. Third base under fire. We're came to the production. At the same time, Fnatic is destroying bases. True, but he's taking far too long. It's just far too long at this point. As the main is only going to be standing for a couple more seconds as lurkers, they get into the heart of Fnatic's bases. Yeah, they're falling one after another. You can see Fnatic getting into the third, at least. He's able to bring down 3 hatcheries and now should be able to bust into the main. But we may just die from elimination. Like Fnatic, he may just lose all his buildings. Yeah, buildings are falling left and right. Fnatic does have bottom right. Does have the money for another Nexus. But at some point, Fnatic has to turn around. He has to turn around and try to save one of these bases. When it comes to the sizes of the army, it's going to come down to the engagements. I think if everything comes together, I think I want to favor Trifax. He has 16 lurkers. 16? That's a lot of lurkers, Pat. That's a lot of lunkers. And there we go. He's collapsing on the final base of Fnatic. Does he have any probes out on the map? Oh. The final base is going to be shut down. Fnatic has money. We need a building. Up. The Nexus. The Nexus goes down. Oh, no, GG as Fnatic. He had the money, but he had no workers. And Trifax will tab the series 1-1, winning by destroying all the buildings. GG. You don't see that too often, but we do get an elimination there. Again, Fnatic had money, but he had 0 probes. 0 probes on the map. He could not make anything, could not build anything, despite having the resources for it. And again, the base trade just took too long. It just took too long to get into the base trade. It was on Fnatic there to keep an eye on Trifax. He missed the rotation, didn't know where Trifax was, and then Trifax just forced just a really difficult decision there for Fnatic, as he was damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because he was so out of position, if he turned around to defend, he still would have lost bases. He still would have lost his natural, still would have probably lost the third base as well. Maybe save the main. But he would have lost so much and he would have gotten no damage in counterattacking or for it. So a big moment for Trifax. And now we're getting into the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. Can GG when the game ends? You can't. You can't. Of course. There's no GG there, but... yeah, did force Fnatic out of the game. And now we're getting into the ace match. We're diving into game number 3 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Amphion. We have our yellow Polish Protoss player representing Sentinels of Mirage being forced into the ace match. Can he bounce back? It is Fnatic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Zerg player, the blue Zerg, representing himself, currently teamless. But tying up the series 1-1, can he take the series in the end? Can he go all the way to the playoffs? It is Trifax. Oh, hello, Chase, Pappy, hello. See Chase in chat. We're doing it again. Let's go. Oh, he gets scouted. This is the problem with relying on the same build twice in a series. Fnatic trying to set up the proxy gateways here, trying to wall off. He gets one gateway down. But the drone is in position. Second gateway gets thrown down as well, and we can see Trifax patrolling in between those gateways. The probe falls. The probe goes down. Ay, ay, ay. And Fnatic stumbling out the gate. Trifax making sure that we are denying that third gateway. We can see gas is being taken back at home. Fnatic already transitioning. Oof. Again, like going for that cheese earlier is really good to sprinkle into a series, like once in a series, but doing it again, clearly Trifax much more prepared, going for a gas first, gas into pool. Ling's speed is going to be prioritized. Lings are on the way. Roaches as well. Fnatic's in trouble. This could just be game. I don't want to call it too early, but the reality is that this is going to be shut down. We're rushing to Roach production here. This initial proxy should be shut down, and if this proxy falls, there's nothing to defend. As we're going for the proxy hatchery in the main. Let's go. In the main base, who needs to break out of the contain when we can just make roaches across the map? Fanatig has spotted this, he's aware, but there's nothing here. Like, how do we defend? We have nothing. We have no gates, we have no production. Lings are out, Zelts are amassing. Oh boy, and boys are being pulled, but it may just be too late. There's so much progression on this hatchery. The decision to pull the boys here, it feels just a little bit too delayed. We'll see. As the hatchery is more than halfway done. Regardless, is dealing so much economic damage to Fanatig. It looks like we should force the cancel. But still so much damage as roaches have arrived and they should have their way with these zealots. There we go, hatchery is cancelled. The zealots are being focused down. And this Stalker is going to be able to maintain this position, but for how much longer? We have 2 Stalkers. This Overlord should fall. But again, I'm just concerned about when we break out. Stargate's on the way. We need a Void Ray. We need some Skytoss units desperately here to defend against the counterattack. As Trifax is expanding. Taking his natural. Ravager has arrived. Chipping away at the front lines. Chipping away at that wall. Now, we don't have link speed. Thankfully for Fanatig, there is no link speed. We're spending all of our gas on Ravager production, which will break out, but it does mean that Fanatig has time to get into his first unit. To get into that Stargate. So we are breaking out. Again, initially focusing on the pylon, but now we realize that the gateway's not even making anything, so depowering the pylon doesn't really do anything. Instead of focusing through the wall. Natural base, getting saturated. We are droning up behind this. And the gateways will fall. We can see the Stalkers racing back home. Fanatig doesn't know if link speed was prioritized, so he doesn't want to get surrounded. Doesn't want to get caught out. It's going to be an Oracle first. Shield batteries are on the way. They are expanding. Again, the proxy is shut down. Now, I feel like we probably won't move out without link speed. Like, link speed recently started. Oracle dips in. We don't actually have that much to defend. We only have 2 queens. Uh-oh. And we're getting so much done. Punishing the lack of queens here. 7, 8 drones going down. 9 drones. Fanatig, we're still in this. That's a pretty hefty amount of damage, and Fanatig has an even worker count. An even probe count here to the drones of Trifax. Is rotating around. Now, we only made 1 Oracle. We only made 1. We have a Void Ray on the horizon, but we're supply blocked. No third base in sight. Link speed is soon going to be kicking in, but Trifax is still focusing on droning. I'm waiting to see if that's going to be the case, though. We have pulled out of gas completely. We have now taken our 3rd. Yeah, we're droning. Okay. I was waiting to see what was going to be made with this larva, but we are droning. We're not making links. So we're droning on up. Oracle between the bases. +1 air attack on the way. We're getting into Skytoss. Happy. We're getting ready for Skytoss. And I do like this position for Fanatig. Again, he's caught up in workers. Void Rays are amassing. You can see Fanatig mining through these minerals to expand on the left-hand side. He has a full wall here, and he won't have to knock down that wall. So we're expanding elsewhere. And likewise, because we're rushing into Skytoss, we're never going to knock down this wall. As the fleet beacon is on the way. Oh boy. Feels like we're in 2021 all over again. Getting some deja vu. Fanatic playing Skytoss. Trifax has yet to scout. Trifax hasn't seen much. Doesn't need to see much either. If Trifax checks the wall, he's going to be able to confirm the researching Cybercore. I mean, you could make an argument that maybe it's going to be Warp Gate, as Warp Gate hasn't been researched yet, but we can make an assumption that it's going to be +1 air attack, as it would confirm the additional Void Rays. Back at home, we're expanding, taking a third. Settling into the rest of our production. 2 Stargates up and running. And Fanatic just biding his time a little bit longer here. There it is. Tempest on the way, not Carrier. I was curious. As to whether it was going to be Carrier or Tempest. We have our answer. Now this Tempest rush, what's scary about this is that, especially because of this map, we can threaten the main. We can just be here on the north side of the main base and just apply so much pressure and be relatively safe. So the main base is vulnerable to Sky Toss. You can see these Void Rays making sure that there is no creep being active here. Yeah, intentionally denying all this creep. Now this will make sure that the Queens have a hard time chasing and fighting in this location. Likewise, no sag defense either. And more drones going down. Trifax going for a lane counterattack. Queens are spotted. Cannons are still finishing up. And we have a Spire on the way. Thankfully, it looks like we've more or less pieces together. Yeah, Ravager's going to be able to bow down that cannon. Shield Battery does finish up in time. Tempest reveals itself. It's a rough decision to make, but yeah, the Tempests are now revealed. The Trifax is aware. Also should have seen the Carrier starting up towards the end. And we already had the Spire on the way, so we should be working towards Corruptor production. I mean, you can work towards Mutas. Mutas are okay if the Skytoss is in low numbers, but the Skytoss is building up quite heavily. Skytoss is building up, so it would be a little bit wiser to just go into Corruptor. As Trifax is droning up to 82 already. Oh my god, Trifax has been so greedy. I love this, just droning straight up to 80, getting a 5th base as well. Has a booming economy. And there it is, 10 Corruptors at a time. With +1 air carapace on the way. Flyer carapace even. On the way. This means that this Tempest timing, this Tempest push is late. It's a little bit too late at this point. We could have pushed out earlier, but we had to use them to defend. And I mean, now the Corruptors are in production. You get a stasis trap here towards the south. Catching a couple of workers. But the question becomes, do we have a recall? I'm not sure we do. We're catching out the Tempest. No recall. And 1 Tempest goes down. 2nd Tempest. A massive overextension. Fanatic pushing out without recall was a massive mistake. As we're losing everything. The Carriers, the Tempest, the Void Rays, everything we were building up towards, it doesn't matter. Not anymore. Fanatic losing so much. That was what, like 4 units? Doesn't look like a lot, but that's all he had. That's all he had left. 1 Carrier left back at home. We do force the overcharge. We're going for the Carrier, and it's going to be focused down. Even with the shield battery, the overcharge was spent on the Stalker, not on the Carrier. And there's only 1 unit left in the sky. The overcharge, we'll keep it alive. We do have to respect the overcharge. You have to back off. But we got the Carrier. That was worth it. Looking at the trades, that was 7 Corruptors for 2 Tempests and 2 Carrier and 2 Void Rays. That's a worthwhile trade for the Zerg. Bearing in mind that Trifax is on 93 drones, I would argue too many. It's okay, we're losing something quick. We're bleeding out drones, thankfully, so maintaining that bit of a low worker count now at 87, which is more than enough. And now we can just focus on Link Corruptor. +1 flyer carapace finishing up. From here we can go into +1 air carapace or flyer attack. Bailing speed on the way. Fanatic throwing down a wall of cannons for a wall of defense. But with Banelings, we should bust through this. Like, Banelings will make short work of these cannons. Now, I do like how spread out they are. Like, very nice spread of cannons here to reduce the splash damage of those Banelings. But, we should still be able to overwhelm this. It should still be too much. Now, Overcharge is once again off of cooldown. We can use it. Overcharge is available. But even with Overcharge, we have 24 Corruptors. Storm is just now finishing. Storm would be huge, but we're breaking through. Yeah, carries are falling left and right. Void Rays as well. Everything in the air has fallen. And now we can just camp the production. Up. Where are we going? Hey, going for the main base. Not quite going for the Stargates, but going for the gateways. Just making sure there's as little on the ground as possible. And Lings are rallying across. But we get on top of the High Templar. Ooh, the storm too little too late. That was a good storm, but all the High Templar are fallen. Yeah, we shut down the gateways. We focus on another carrier. And Trifax has done it. This was a close series, especially Game 2. Like, Game 2 could have gone either way. There were definitely moments for Fanatig in Game 2. Here in Game 3, just overextending, throwing away his first couple units. GG gets called, and Trifax will take the series at 2-1, advancing on to the playoffs. GG. Let's go. GG, well played. Yo, I see you in the chats. This is not the ESL chat. If you want to cry about balance, cry somewhere else. But that was a big overextension from Fanatig. On top of that, unfortunately, his proxy was scattered. If you remember, it all started with an attempted proxy 3-gate. It all started with an attempted proxy 3-gate. It was completely shut down, as Fanatig had done it earlier in the series, so Trifax was aware. He was a little bit more aware of it, and Trifax was able to completely shut it down initially. We had Skytoss as a follow-up, and there was potential. There was a lot of potential for Fanatig. I did like how much damage he was doing with his Oracle. He was being very efficient, but his recall was on cooldown, so when he moved out with his Tempest, when he moved out with his carrier, he lost everything. Like, that was a big pivotal moment for Trifax, for him to shut down 2 Tempest and a carrier and snowball out of control. Did snowball out of control. GG, well played. And now we have, oh my god, my apologies, I thought we were going to be casting that, but now we have our playoff bracket, and you can see it here before you. Bam, there we go. We have a Laser versus Papi, Trifax versus Cristiano, Geralt versus Aristri, and Rodin versus Snockstar. It looks like a Laser versus Papi already concluded, so I do apologize. I thought we were going to be casting that, but has already wrapped up. A Laser takes down Papi 2-0, which means I have no idea what we're casting next. But we're going to be jumping into those playoffs. We're going to be jumping into that playoff bracket. Let's just have a look at the Wikipedia page. Man, there we go. From the top, you can see our bracket before us. And just a sea of Protoss and Zerg. So again, a Laser already in that next round. We might cast Trifax versus Cristiano, or Geralt. I mean, honestly, there's no bad series. There's no bad series here. They all look like a lot of fun. They're all looking quite competitive. Personally, I think it would be really good to follow Trifax versus Cristiano into a Laser, just because there's a little bit of history between Cristiano and a Laser, because they are the top 2 players of the last H.4.0.S Galactic Battle. So I do think that there's a lot of value to be had there in following them, but we'll see where we go. We shall see. For now, we're going to be going on a short break. Players will be getting ready, and we do have to decide on our next match. So we'll be getting it and diving into our playoffs soon. On top of that, the stream is going to go down for a moment. We've been live for 4.5, almost 5 hours. Almost 5 hours. We're kind of halfway through. I mean, the playoff bracket is massive. We're kind of halfway through. But I'm going to be switching over. We're going to be switching production teams. Basically, Kuro is going to be stepping in. Kuro is going to be handling the production, and Kuro will be casting with me later on. Kuro, of course, is our resident Polish information fairy, or hero of the wasteland. Is that what it is? Hero of the wasteland, savior of esports. There we go. But Kuro will be joining me for the upper bracket finals, for the lower bracket finals, and the grand finals as well. And on top of that, we're just going to be breaking up the VOD a little bit as well, because it's going to be a long cast. It's going to be a long cast, and we don't want the VOD to be deleted. For those that are curious, if we ever stream on YouTube for over 12 hours, like, there's a chance that the VOD gets deleted. So because we know it's going to be a long stream, we'll switch over. We will just end the stream for a moment, restart it. So don't go anywhere. The stream will be back in a couple of seconds. It's just about to go down, then come back up as we enter the playoffs. See you soon. See you soon.